We have a couple of panelists right now that are going to talk to you, and then right about 4:30, we have a few other panelists that are going to come and speak more on these topics because they are coming from class. So I just want to take a moment and introduce myself. My name is Marley Stein. I'm the Associate Director of Study Abroad. I work really closely with our scholarship portfolio, and I'm involved in reviewing scholarship essays for scholarships that students are applying towards study abroad, which is why I'm hosting this great group of students to talk about what their personal experiences were and any advice that they might have. So before I go further and let the students take over, I just wanted to go over a few basic things that are important regarding scholarships for UIC. The first is that financial aid travels with you abroad. So any financial aid that you would receive for the semester length program will travel with you abroad. So institutional aid, federal aid, any scholarships you get to attend UIC, you can apply those towards your study abroad experience for semester length. That also includes the Pell Grant if any of you are recipients of that. There are a handful of exceptions for example, the tuition waiver, but beyond that, the majority of financial aid will travel with you abroad for semester length. For summer, it is only federal aid and the Pell Grant if you are eligible for it. So that's federal loans or the Pell Grant. There are many types of scholarships, and each of the students are going to touch base on the ones that they applied for, the ones they received, etc. But just for a brief overview, we have UIC-based scholarships. So those are scholarships that our office, other units on campus offer that can be applied to students specifically who are studying abroad. Anything you would find in UIC SNAP that would go towards your general education at UIC, those can be applied to study abroad. And then we have scholarships from our partners. So you'll probably see as you're applying to programs, different acronyms, CEA, IES, CIE, SIT, a million different names. And though each of those partners have scholarships for any of the US students who would be attending one of their programs. In addition to that, we have partnerships with these organizations, and they offer scholarships specific to UIC. And then lastly, there are national scholarships. These are scholarships such as the Gilman International Scholarship, the Gilman-McCain Scholarship, both of which are for Pell recipients, the Freeman Asia Scholarship, as well as a number of other national ones, and the Fund for Education Abroad, who we will have one of the recipients join us later. In general, resources for scholarships. You have all of these sessions that we host each semester that go over writing, scholarships that are available, and just general tips, as well as connecting you with alumni who can speak about their personal experience. We also offer one-on-one advising appointments for scholarship essay review. So if you already are further along in the process and would like a staff member from our office to look over that, we are happy to do that as well. So that's a bit of an overview, a quick, the basics about scholarships and funding. And I will introduce our student intern. She is interning in the Study Abroad office this semester, and she's also the president of the Alumni Ambassador Group, and Rosalinda Almanza.
Hi, everyone. I just want to thank everyone for joining. Especially thank you to the panelists for volunteering to share their experiences and their stories. So my name is Rosalinda Almanza. I am a business management major with a Latino studies minor. I'm in my final year at UIC. I graduate in the fall, so December 2021. And I studied abroad in the fall of 2018 through CIE. I went to London, Rome, and Madrid. And I chose that program because for me, it was more about getting the most experience out of my abroad experience. There wasn't a specific country that I was most interested in. I just wanted to go to as many places as I could. And I really was interested in going to Europe because I'd never gone over there. So that's about me. So who are my panelists right now? Can you tell me your name so I can make sure I pronounce it correctly?
We have Nitsaniyah Fitch, and we have Melissa Reyes here.
Nia and Melissa. Okay. So Nia, if you want to go first, and then Melissa can go second, and we can always switch around. and as more people join. Can you briefly introduce your name, major, and the year in school you are, and where did you study abroad and why?
Hi, everybody. I have the worst cold right now, so please try and ignore that. But I'm actually a UIC alum. I graduated spring of 2020. So I guess, what is that? Like a semester ago. Oh, it feels like forever ago already. But I studied abroad in Switzerland, and I also studied abroad in China. Geneva, Switzerland, and then Beijing, Shanghai, and Hangzhou, China. Um, Initially, I studied abroad in Geneva, Switzerland because the program was completely perfect as far as like what I envisioned myself doing in my career. It had a lot of, well, the program itself was for international relations and multilateral diplomacy. And it just had all of the different aspects of, I guess, not just travel and politics, but it also centered around language, the French language, and also being able to center your studies around a focus area. And I chose environmentalism. So I was able to learn all these different things and interact with a bunch of other people who kind of had the same general interests that I did and kind of grow and expand on that. And that kind of stood as the platform or kind of like the jumping spot that I went from there to China because my studies and the project that I did in that study abroad program kind of propelled me into um, doing the China program, which was the Wangsheng Fellowship. And it basically centered around public policy, also like engineering, civil engineering, um, and environmentalism as well. So my projects that I did when I was in Geneva, Spain, centered around China and the environment, and then finding out about this program, which made me want to go to China even more. And then the program was perfect, and it helped me learn more about that too. So those were kind of my two main, well, not even main, those were the two study abroad programs that I did. Um, yeah, that's why.
Thank you. Melissa, can you share?
Hi, my name is Melissa. I'm in my fourth year at UIC, and this is my last semester. I'm a communications major with a minor in global Asian studies. And my minor is kind of what, and I studied abroad in South Korea in spring of 2020. So I was interested in studying abroad there. Well, studying abroad in general, just for like the cultural experience, because I feel like I just wanted to like learn about another culture besides like, because I always go to Mexico, so I wanted to like, go somewhere else. And with my minor of global Asian studies, I really wanted to go have like kind of like that first in-person experience of the Asian culture. And I had chosen South Korea because years ago, like my cousin went to UIC and did the same program, and she had recommended it, so I thought I would try it. And I also went to learn Korean, so I took like an intensive class and everything. So yeah, this is my reasoning for going.
Thank you for sharing. The next question is, what do you feel were the major long-term benefits and takeaways from studying abroad? And this can be professionally, personally, or academically. And anyone can go first. You don't have to go in a certain order.
I'll go first. You said what were the takeaways?
Yeah, the long-term benefits or takeaways
Oh, okay.
for yourself.
Okay, so long term, um, I honestly fell in love with study abroad. Like, I'm I'm an alum from UIC, but I also used to work for the study abroad office. And I started working for the study abroad office after studying abroad for the very first time in Geneva, Switzerland. And I completely fell in love with it. When I decided to study abroad, I was kind of like at a crossroads in college where I liked my degree, but it wasn't for me. But I was trying to figure out, what major was specifically right for me, even though I felt like I knew exactly what I wanted to do. But, how do I get there? And I ended up switching my major at that point and studying abroad, finding that program. It wasn't a major, but it described everything that essentially I wanted to do. So by going and studying abroad there and meeting the people that I got to meet and learning the things that I got to learn and having that experience helped me kind of clarify and better understand not just myself, but kind of just understand the path and the direction that I wanted to take, not just with my career, but even just personally, in college and even beyond that. So I think you get a lot of clarity and understanding and growth from studying abroad. And it also kind of just helps with your vision, I'd say, or depending on who you are, of course, like things apply to you individually, but that's kind of what it was for me. Um, and then even beyond that, like deciding to study abroad again and following up on that. And now that I've graduated, I mean, prior to this whole pandemic situation, the plan was to go to the Peace Corps. Like that's automatically what I wanted to do. And I was set to go. And of course, the pandemic hit, but had it not hit, I'd be a sustainable educator, and can't even say it, sorry, a sustainable agriculture educator in Togo, Africa right now. And that's another aspect that I really feel like study abroad really helped me get to, as far as like wanting to study and learn and not only just learn, but also taking the things that I've learned over time and helping implement those and into something more positive too. So I I think there are so many different takeaways that you can get from study abroad, and it's all unique to you and your experience and essentially what you want to make out of it because your experiences at the end of the day really are what you make out of it. And I honest to God can say that you can't go wrong with studying abroad. Like I really push everyone to do it because there is no loss in it. There really is no loss in it. You don't lose anything. Like time is the greatest currency, and spending it somewhere where all you're going to do is grow and gain from that experience. um I don't know how else to describe it. I feel like I'm a
I
poster
completely
child.
agree.
Just study abroad. Go. But yeah.
I think, yeah, and I think it's really important to have a positive attitude going in and like the whole time you're there and like coming back.
Oh
Um, yeah. Melissa, would you want to share anything? I can repeat the question if you
I have
need.
it right here. I was reading it.
Okay.
So personally, like when I knew I was excited to like gain something from it, but I just didn't know exactly what. But I definitely agree that like I gained a lot of like personal growth, and especially like I went when the pandemic was starting, and I had actually like gotten my program like canceled right before it started, but I was already in the country and I took that like as a sign to try and stay, I guess. And I'm glad I stayed because I feel like I couldn't have achieved that growth from home, especially like when everything shut down and everything. But I still try to make the most of it, like especially safely. And like I feel like for me personally, like I learned a lot. Um, not only like culture, like academically, I learned finally like a language I had been wanting to learn, and it also like inspired me to like kind of keep going and everything because um to kind of like not stop there. So by having the experience of studying abroad, it like inspired me to like plan on like teaching English in Korea or like finding opportunities in order to like, even if it wasn't just Korea, like anywhere, like after graduating, like I have so many like new insights and like new I guess opportunities that are being laid out, and like it's just really widened my scope of the possibilities of what I could do with my degree. And as for like I guess professionally, like I feel like I've definitely put, as a communication major, I definitely put like that into use. I feel like after going there, like I feel like I'm way more, I guess, confident in a way. Because if I could like kind of like guide myself around a foreign country, I feel like I'm good in like other aspects when like, you know, introducing yourself to anybody or like even like interviews and everything. I feel like I've gained a sense of like try to be confident in how you speak and everything, and not to get aggravated with like if you can't understand something. Or so yeah, I feel like I definitely gained a lot from the experience, and maybe possibly even things that I don't even realize I probably gained from it, but I just don't, it's hard to put into words sometimes. But definitely like you're not gonna lose going to study abroad. You're gonna gain something for sure.
Yeah, I understand that. Was there any barriers that you felt when you were initially considering studying abroad, Melissa?
Um, for me, I feel like I was very worried about like the financial aspect, just because when, well, my freshman year of college, I actually went to another university. I went to Marquette University, and because it was so expensive, like I was like, I really wanted to study abroad, but I knew I possibly like would not get it there. So transferring to UIC, it kind of gave me that hope, but still, like I was like very like kind of scared of it. So that was definitely like one of them. But I feel like with the guidance of like the study abroad office and like everything, I feel like it made me feel like, oh, okay, this is possible, and not to be too worried about that. And obviously like when I was about to go there, I was very like unsure what was gonna happen because of the pandemic and everything. But I feel like the guidance from the office really helped me to like not become too, know that I wasn't alone the whole way, and like have that like guiding hand to like help me make decisions and everything.
I think I definitely felt the same barriers when I was considering too, and when I was looking into it. But the advisors at the study abroad office really helped me kind of pretty much make the dream come true. Nia, did you have any barriers when you were considering studying abroad?
Yeah, I think my biggest barrier was definitely financial, but I was of a mindset even when I started out that like once I found my program, I was like, there's no way I'm not going. I was telling people that I'm studying abroad in Geneva, Switzerland before I was even accepted into the program, before it was even paid for. I was like, yeah, guys, that's what I'm going to be doing this summer, and didn't have like any confirmation yet. So I was really just of a mindset like this is gonna get done, this is gonna happen. Don't really know how I'm gonna pay for it yet, but we're gonna make it happen. And to be quite frank with you, like I said, I was in that really like strange area in my college career where I had just changed my major. I'm pretty sure like my GPA was the lowest it's ever been when I changed my major and decided to study abroad. So if some of you guys are thinking about studying abroad and you're looking at scholarships right now and some of them have like a certain GPA requirement, like I completely understand like that pressure for some of them. All of them have like different GPA requirements, but I just know that for me in my own situation, like I couldn't even apply to certain scholarships because of, the position that I was in, but that didn't necessarily stop me from, finding scholarships that I could and was eligible to apply for. And actually applying for them. Um, so I believe the program, okay, so the program that I did was International Studies and Multilateral Diplomacy with SIT, and I did the summer program. And that program essentially matches your Pell grant for the summer, and I also think for the semester programs, but I can't remember. So they were able to essentially, the program itself, and I know other programs as well do this, but they were able to essentially give me some kind of funding from SIT to study abroad. And then I also applied to a scholarship that the study abroad office at UIC provided I believe it was like in collaboration with UIC or something like that. Marley, maybe you remember, what scholarship I'm talking about. I applied for that one. and I was able to get that. And mind you, summer programs are a lot cheaper than semester programs are, but they're also shorter. So though my program cost wasn't, and again, programs fluctuate, like it's different. It's different for every single program. So I'm not going to say that they're all the same, but my program, I think from my scholarships covered a vast majority of what I needed to pay for it, but I think I still needed to come up with maybe a couple thousand more dollars, maybe four, I don't remember the specific amount. But I remember getting like federal aid offered to me, and my perspective upon like accepting my federal aid was kind of just like, this is really an investment for me, and there's no way that I'm going to let essentially my present situation or my present status as far as like academics go and the stress from that like get in the way of what I want to do essentially. And I do not regret it at all. But I do remember the stress that I had from that. So me having kind of like that mindset then got me to where I am now. However, if you're trying to find other scholarships and stuff like that, like the study abroad office itself has a plethora of scholarships that they can like refer you to. But then again, outside of that, one of the things that I even learned working at the study abroad office that I had never thought about until I actually started working there was that you can actually look on the websites of other universities, study abroad pages for scholarships and stuff like that, because sometimes they might find something that, you may actually be eligible for that you probably don't even need to be a student at their university to actually get that scholarship, because I've seen like at least one or two people do that, find scholarships on other websites that were referred to them by a friend that I think they had. Anyway, long story short, like just expand your search, like look in places that you normally would think like, why would I look at Loyola study abroad? By the way, Loyola has study abroad programs. I don't know if they're active, but they have study abroad programs, and maybe they'd have, on their study abroad website, scholarships that you could apply for that you're eligible for, that maybe for whatever reason, we're human. Maybe we just didn't get a chance to updating the website quite yet. Who knows, So like everything at the end of the day is completely possible. Like, don't stress yourself out about money in the present. Money is important. I'm not saying that it's not, but I'm just saying that like everything is possible with the right attitude.
Thank you for that, Nia. Melissa, so this kind of led to our next question. Would you mind sharing which scholarships you applied for and you received?
Yeah, so going into like searching for scholarships and everything, I knew I already got the just by already at UIC, I got the, I think it's called the MAP grant, and then also the, sorry, I pulled it up just to have like to reference it. The MAP grant and also the, sorry, I just want to be accurate. The Pell grant. So, and so with those, I know I had like some kind of like basis for like when like applying, like I knew I had something, but I definitely wanted more to help out in like the cost. So I had applied to the Gilman International Scholarship. I didn't get it, but like I definitely would like recommend that because it's definitely like a good amount that could be taken off, and like you never know. And but I did my program through CIEE, and because they had like a lot of opportunities like for scholarships on their own, I was able to get like the CIEE Gilman Gold Global Grant, which helped in the costs for travel. So basically I didn't have to pay for any like flights or anything. So everything was already set there, and I definitely recommend that one if but I think they gave it to me like just by applying for like that program, they already gave that. And then I also got the MSI grant, which also had helped a lot. And then I also got the discretionary scholarship. So those are just a couple that I had gotten, but I also applied to like I went on Snap and like applied to any scholarships at all. I didn't get any of those, but like I definitely think like if you just the more you like at one point I was applying to so many that like sometimes I would even forget whenever they like the Gilman Go Global, I didn't even know like I was eligible for it. Just getting like more and more money for like my cause. It's just like shocking that like I got so much to like help, and it definitely like relieves that stress. So those are the only ones I can remember that about which ones I got and applied for, but I definitely recommend keep searching and keep looking at all your resources because it's definitely possible.
I will add, a lot of partners give scholarships just for applying to the Gilman, even if you don't receive it. They want to incentivize students to try to reach for these national scholarships. So they'll match it, or sometimes they will give you a scholarship just for trying, which is great. The other thing about UIC Snap is it saves all of your documents. So a lot of the questions are the same for all of the scholarships. So you can apply once and then just use the same application for all of the scholarships that you're eligible for in the study abroad sector. So it makes it a little bit easier.
We also have a new panelist who joined us, Bhagvat. Would you mind, welcome, would you mind introducing yourself and telling us your name and the year you are in, and also where you studied abroad, and if you haven't, what your experiences were with scholarships?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Bhagvat. I'm a senior graduating this semester, and I studied abroad in summer 2019. I went to St. Kitts and Nevis in the Caribbean. It was with the UIC faculty. It was a UIC faculty program, and it was like global health and disaster preparedness in the Caribbean. And it was a really interesting experience, and one that like I've been really able to apply like on my daily life because I plan on going into medicine. And it was just an awesome experience. And one of the things that I was worried about when I decided that I wanted to study abroad was the cost at first. So I was looking at programs that maybe weren't as expensive, like with the preliminary price, like because I know some programs can range up to like 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. So I was kind of looking at like lower than 4,000. And I was looking for the summer because a lot of my classes, like I have to take like in the US, like at like a university in order to like apply to like medical school. So I was looking at programs like for the summer, and I was looking at the UIC the faculty ones because they were a little shorter. And also because of that, I think like a little bit less expensive. So I was thinking that, you know, if I can get a few scholarships and like financial aid, like I should be able to like pay for that. So that was one of the things that I did. So I would definitely recommend looking at UIC faculty programs if you're worried about like maybe the cost being too high. And then also it's a great way to connect to faculty on campus, right? Making connections with other UIC students. And it just broadens your perspective, broadens your reach on campus. And for scholarships, I'm in the honors college, so there's a lot of honors college scholarships, and one of them is a study abroad scholarship, which I applied for, and I got it. And one of the requirements is just kind of like documenting what you do, like when you go study abroad, like send in pictures and like write your experiences, which was really fun because you get to reflect on like what you're actually doing. So that was one thing that helped me pay that scholarship. And then also I also qualified for I get the Pell Grant. And so during the summer, depending on how many credits you take, like I think it's 6 or more, you can qualify for the Pell Grant for the summer, and that can help cover a significant portion of your whatever the cost of your program is. So I had that one scholarship, and then the Pell Grant, and then after that, the cost really wasn't. It was like a couple hundred, and then with like how much the flight cost, maybe it was like a little over $1,000. And then obviously like I think that was doable for me, like given my financial situation. So it was something that like I got to get that experience of like going abroad for like 2 weeks and like having the experience. And I still like the faculty member that I went with. I actually was just in a meeting with her. Like she's my advisor for my capstone now. Like we made really good connections like there, and like it definitely was worth it, like I would say. And I'm really happy that I got to like go abroad uh that summer. And also I wanted to go abroad again because like it was a really good experience. So I applied, like I was looking at more scholarships and stuff. So I did apply for Gilman last summer, and I actually got it. So that was something that I was really excited about. And I'm looking to like see how I can use that for like a virtual like study abroad internship for this summer. So definitely like if you're worried about the cost, I would say like you can look into lower cost programs if you still want that experience. And I would say that if you're able to, like during the fall or spring, you can get like a full study abroad experience for almost the same cost as like you going to UIC for a semester. And many times it's like the same cost or even less than like if you're going to a semester on campus. So if I had that option, I think I definitely would have chosen to do like fall or spring. So I would look at that because like you can get a lot more financial aid. There's a lot more scholarships I think available too during the fall and spring semesters. If you're in the LAS, there's a lot of LAS scholarships. And then also like through the study abroad office, you can look into those scholarships. So yeah.
When you were writing your essays for the scholarships, how did you highlight your identity, diversity, and your background in those essays?
So I think like the Gilman, like it does try and get like that unique perspective of who you are and like where you come from. So it's a perfect platform to really describe that and how it like relates to why you want to study abroad. So when I was writing my essay, like for those prompts, I was trying to be as like genuine as possible because I think I come from a diverse background, I would say, but both my parents are from India, and they came here like when they were very young, like in their teenage years. And I was raised with like Indian and American culture. Like I know like my own native language and my own native culture, but also like I was born and raised here in America. So I have like I have a connection with that ethnic background that my family is from. And the way that I've experienced it at home with different like festivals and like the cultures and the traditions that I have, and how that relates to my identity as like an American, I guess as a second generation like American. And I tried to highlight that because I think it's influenced me to broaden my perspective of the world in general, because I live in an area in a community that is so diverse that it is really representative of like the world. Because if you go in some parts of the world, like you really don't get to see the same type of diversity in culture and like language that you do like maybe in Chicago or like elsewhere in the US. And I just want to like learn as much about other people and like other cultures, because it makes me feel like good that I know more, and also it just helps me discover more about myself. And I tried to highlight that when I was writing my essay and try to make it as genuine as possible and like really highlight that like this is why I want to do it. Like you really have to do a little bit of soul searching if you want to make it like sound good, because like you can, I guess there's people that can like say that, you know, they have this and this experience and like it's because of this that they want to go study abroad, like that's why the scholarship would help them, which could like help you get the scholarship. But I think the best route is like really introspecting and like questioning like why, like what is the real reason like you want to go abroad. Like if it's just for like traveling, like you don't need to study abroad for that, you know, like you can do that like any other time. But like why is it that you want to go to a different country and like study? Yeah, I'm sorry if that was like I went off tangent. Like that's just my thought process when I was writing my essays, like why do I want to go here and like do these things.
No, you didn't. You didn't. It was really helpful. Nia, what was your experience, and how did you highlight your background in your scholarship essays?
So I'm trying to think of a very good example. For me, it was I don't want to say very difficult, but I spent a lot of time putting all of my thoughts and feelings on paper and then getting a lot of help revising and making it sound like more coherent and more on point. Um, and if you're that kind of person that sometimes speaks their feelings and thoughts better than they actually put it down on paper, um, I would suggest putting all of your thoughts and feelings down on paper and putting all of your passion and why you're essentially trying to do it on paper first. Um, and making sure, I mean, Bhagvat, did I pronounce your name correctly? Bhagvat? Okay.
Yeah, you did.
I think you essentially like described that very well as far as like highlighting the core reason as to why this program specifically or why this country specifically is, your main reason for wanting to study abroad. I think that at the end of the day is like the core of it all. Um, but just to sprinkle that on top, like how I just said, putting your feelings and your thoughts and your passions and your emotions and, you know, essentially like what's driving you to do this, like just starting, like picking up the pen and just putting those words down on paper, putting pen to paper, I think really helps get the process going and kind of getting the wheels turning and getting, you know, that out. Um, I think that's kind of how I started off writing a lot of my scholarships and then also looking for outside help from people that that you can rely on for quality feedback, you know and I know the advisors at the City Abroad office are completely open to helping you guys get through that process as well, but you could also go to the writing center at UIC. I know that different support, what do we call them again, like the support entities at UIC, you have the writing center, you have like AAAN, the tutoring centers, spots. I'm sorry, guys. I'm an alum, so I'm low key kind of forgetting the different spots on campus. But there are a lot of support service offices that you can go to get them to, read over your stuff and help you kind of like make your argument sound comprehensive. Because essentially what you're trying to do to the people reading your scholarship essays at the end of the day is they want to give you money. They want to give you money. They want to give you their scholarship money. You just have to make it make sense to them as to like why they should give it to you. They already want to give it to you, you know? So it's kind of just like making it make sense for them.
So some of you have already mentioned how your goals were incorporated into your program selection. So Melissa, would you like to share either how your identity or your goals were highlighted in your essays?
I definitely had talked about also my background as well as being like a second generation like daughter immigrants and everything, and how like culture has been very important to me. And like I've definitely have kind of like expressed how like I want to uh I guess be more cultured. Like I just want to be like more like guess like for a better word, like well rounded. And I feel like living in I mean, like I agree. Like living in the U.S., like especially like in the Chicago area, you see people of all different cultures and everything, and it's kind of like I just want to go like a step further in that, and like have the opportunity to like uh, just kind of like again immerse myself in that culture, and I kind of like describe that want for more of that feel in my paper. I kind of forgot what I wrote, to be honest, but I remember it was very like I really wrote with my heart, like kind of like how it's very important to me to be more diverse and everything, and not just to be like, not to be closed-minded and not to be just sticking to what I'm used to. I definitely want to be like adventurous, not just like travel wise. I'm not like, I'm talking about like I guess I don't know what the right word to describe it. I want to say like not spiritually, but like, yeah, just I guess also like soul searching and everything about that. Like I definitely wanted, I don't know, I'm really bad at describing things, but in general, I just talked about oh my god, I'm like drawing a blank. That this experience would definitely help me and like become getting what I want out of it, and also like talking about how like what I would do with that experience in the future and everything. I remember writing about how this experience would, I would definitely use this to share with others as well, and not just to like just end it at that. I would definitely use my opportunity to inspire other people as well.
Is there any advice, just last advice that you'd want to like to add or give to any prospective students?
Something I didn't do when doing the essay portion that I definitely recommend, and I regret it now, is that like definitely using the services from UIC for your essay and like just to go over everything. I feel like at the time that I was applying for scholarships and everything, I kind of did it. I wish I had planned my time more better, because at the time I was like very busy with not just schoolwork and like also work and everything, those like daily stresses. But I definitely recommend setting time for it, because it's obviously something you want to invest in, and using those resources that UIC does have, apart from like the study abroad office. Like they help a lot, but also using anything you can to make you achieve that goal. That's something I would recommend.
Bhagvat, do you have any last advice that you'd like to add?
Yeah, I would like to say that don't limit yourself, because like just generally like in life, like there's going to be a lot of people and like circumstances that will try and limit you, but like you really don't want to like limit your own perspective of like what you can do. And I know that it's hard, like especially right now, given like the situations and the circumstances we're in, and maybe you might feel that you're not in a situation to like have these experiences, but I would definitely say don't close your mind to them. You never know like what can work out in the future. So like just don't limit yourself to like what you can do, because like we're all capable of doing like everything given given the right resources, right? So try and find those resources, because I know at UIC there's lots of resources to help us. We're fortunate in that sense. So please just try and reach out to find those resources.
Thank you. Nia, is there any advice you'd like to add?
Don't sell yourself short. You deserve, okay? I feel like you owe it to yourself to go and see what's out there, and come what may, kind of just, I do not want to sound cliche right now, so I'm not going to sound cliche, and I'm not going to say what I was thinking. But essentially, like, don't let fear hold you back. I can't believe I let myself say it, but I did. So cliche. But yeah, don't let fear hold you back. All of the things that you may think are barriers for you are essentially, like, if you take a step back and look at the grander picture, the grander scheme of things, the grander scheme of life, are essentially like non-factors. They're not really issues, like your barriers are, oh my god, another cliche, are in your head. I'm gonna stop while I'm ahead. But yeah, just
And I going off of that, I think just with being an ambassador and being involved in the study abroad office for the past few years, I found like almost every conversation I've had with students who are interested in studying abroad is they think it's like so unattainable and they can't do it. It's impossible for whatever, all these different reasons. And I feel like I definitely thought like that when I was thinking about studying abroad. But yes, it's attainable. And yes, so thank you everyone for the advice you
Can I say
gave
this
and
one more
everything.
time?
Yeah,
Sorry,
absolutely.
I just want to say this because, not only am I an alum, but I'm not an advisor, so I can say this. Even if your parents are discouraging you from studying abroad, do not listen to them. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Marley. I'm sorry. But I'm not an advisor, so they can't call me and get mad at me. Okay. So I'm telling you right now, like, your parents are afraid for you because they love you. But don't let them, don't let your parents hold you back, man. Okay, I'm done. Okay, I'm done.
Well, on that note, I think that it's normal that your parents are nervous, but the more information you can provide them about funding, where you're going, how you're getting the funding, the more secure they're going to feel in you studying abroad. And it is important to feel supported both at home and abroad. And if you're able to present the funding and show how hard you're actually working to achieve this opportunity, not all the time, but a lot of times it does help families be more open-minded to the experience of studying abroad. So thanks, Nia, for bringing up that barrier. I know a lot of students have told us that they've experienced that. Definitely. So I want to thank our panelists and Rosie for being an amazing moderator and sharing their experiences openly and honestly. And I hope you all got some great information and feel inspired and know which resources and scholarships might be best for you to reach out to. If you don't, come visit our office. We'll tell you more. But I would say that the takeaways that I want you all to remember, the first is that you want to really make sure you know why you chose the program and how it connects to your long-term professional, academic, and personal goals. We have a number of great examples from our panelists. But also you want to showcase who you are and your background and what diverse experiences you are going to bring to the program and to the country and then back to the US. And lastly, financial aid does travel with you abroad. So the money you get to attend UIC will help support your study abroad experience. With that, I'm going to thank you, Rosie, Nia, Melissa, and Bhagvat. If you don't mind staying on for a few quick moments, we're going to open up to Q&As from our attendees today. So if you would like to unmute yourself and ask the question, or if you prefer to ask in the chat, either way is wonderful.
Hello. So I think my question was kind of like, what were like the general topics or questions that these scholarships asked when like filling out the scholarship portion or the question?
They're honestly going to ask you like the most obvious questions, like, why do you want to study abroad, Jackie? What brought you to choose this country specifically, Jackie? Like, they're really going to ask you like some of the most like basic questions. I can't remember, so maybe some of you other guys can give specific questions that maybe you remember from your applications, but those essentially were like, I think on every single scholarship application that I ever applied for and have ever seen is like, why do you want to study abroad and why specifically this country or why specifically this program? Yeah.
I just pulled up like the prompts that like for the Gilman, like the questions they asked me. So like if you're interested, like I can just like share like what those prompts were. It's just loading. So for the first essay that I wrote, it was like a couple of questions that like they asked and I answered it in parts. So it's like, okay, so number one was is my mic on? Yeah. How will studying or interning abroad help you achieve your future academic or professional goals? So they're looking for, why it's going to help you in your future. And then why did you select your specific program and host country? So like why you're interested in that location. What aspects of studying or interning abroad do you expect to be the most challenging for you? So they're kind of asking you, like they're asking you to like look into yourself and like based on what you know about yourself, like what is something that you like expect to struggle with? And then the last one was what knowledge, skills, and experiences will you draw on to meet these challenges? So um, these 4 questions, they all revolve around like you. So it isn't that like you have to go out and like find this information. It's just that like you have to ask yourself, which can be many times like a lot harder than going out and like finding the answers. So you have to like ask yourself why. So that was one part. And then the second part was kind of just like, uh, so it's the second part asks like when you are overseas, how will you contribute to like the mission of building mutual understanding between the people of your home community and the people of your host community? What are your project goals? Who is your target population and audience? Why did you select? So it's kind of asking you like, you know, we want you to do something like if you get the scholarship, we want you to do something that is like going to ensure that like there is some sort of like change made in like either your life or the community around you. So it's like asking you to like decide like how you want to like what type of project you want to like do once you like get the scholarship and then come back. Like what are you going to do in your community or like your university, and like what type of impact do you want to have? So yeah, it asked a lot, like it asked a lot about what what and why, like why do you want to do this, like why is this for you? So if that gives you a sense of what a lot of study abroad scholarships might ask for.
Thank you. Every scholarship is going to be slightly different, but all centered on the same themes that Bhagvat just went over. So thanks for asking that, Jackie. Anybody else?
Guys, feel free to ask literally whatever. I think we all will answer with all candor, even if it's questions that you think, you know, you probably